What's up, everybody? Peacemaker is back after the big Earth X reveal last week. It's time to dive into episode 207. We picked up with Peacemaker and Harcourt 1 as they take us into the song and dance fighting the Earth X Argus agents. You notice here that Harcourt 2, she ducks for cover immediately when this fight breaks out, while ours is always the first one jumping into a fight. They really are polar opposites. But Chris, he was just so caught up in, having his family back and it being so damn good at first too, having his girl here and being a top hero on this earth that he literally misses the most obvious signs. I mean, they don't get more obvious than this, and yes, it's genuinely insane that he missed this, but also there's this element to it where Chris is only concerned about himself. He just wants to be happy. So when he found that he had the things he needed here, he didn't care about anything else. Gunn was in his bag writing this one though, as we got a hilarious scene during a crazy one in the Adebayo chase. Auggie 2 calls Keith mid-chase. This guy was in the middle of chasing down another human being, and he takes a call like he's chilling on the patio smoking a cig. But Rip Jagger, he returns this week, erasing all my concerns following his absence in episode 6, which I admittedly was very, very concerned about, and he returned in epic fashion. He saves ads from the mob, and he takes some of them out in the process. They were cooking with the action this week too. We see Blue Dragon and Cap Triumph coming to save the day after Peacemaker and Harcourt escaped Argus HQ. Obviously, those two, they're doing it for selfish reasons because Auggie doesn't want the government coming to his house and finding the dimensional portal and everything, but I don't really care because this ruled. They just obliterated the Evergreen PD that was in pursuit of the two, and it was a great scene. Anyways, we got another Superman connection here, another Lex connection. Sidney Happerson, who was the guy begging to close the rift, and who Mr. Terrific pushes out of the way to eventually do so towards the end of Superman, and he's back helping Argus. We get to see that detachable piece of the LexCorp building too, and it was so cool seeing that Superman set piece used again. It's a good one. But Happerson helped Lex with the pocket dimension and the rifts, all that jazz, and while I think he's still, to an extent, a hardcore Luther fanatic, he's also terrified of the guy. Then the 11th Street kids leaving the door open when they went to Earth X is what allows Argus to find the portal, but I think for the audience, for us, the audience, that's actually a good thing because we get some potentially very important information. The Hap says that Peacemaker's portal is much, much more stable than Lex's was, and that's 100% coming into play in the finale. Then I love what Gunn was thinking here, having this scene between Ads and Judo Master, and don't get me wrong, it's not the best execution, it's not a perfect scene, but it's still good. It being on Earth X is huge too, having two foes come together where the entire world is literally against them. Good stuff, James Gunn. Maybe he even joins the gang now in the finale. I thought that was a crazy theory just a couple episodes ago, but after this, shit, it feels very possible. They're at least going to be working together next week searching the cuck, but sticking with this episode, the Earth X visitors can't catch a break. Their situation there is even worse than Flag's quest for revenge on the main Earth, as they've got Evergreen PD, Welcome Back Fitzgibbon, Argus, and the top duo, or kind of just Keith. I still need to know more about Auggie too, and I hope we do, even though he's gone, but they've got people coming after them from every angle. There's only one thing I'm sure about though. All I ever needed was double vigilante. It's the best bit of the season. I don't want to hear about bird blindness, and it's not even close. But Vig 1, he dices up Auggie 2 in maybe my favorite sequence of the season. From the conversation before the death to the double Vig brawl to Keith coming in like the Kool-Aid man just to get smoked by Eagly, who finally listened to Economos. What a sequence. Then before I wrap things up, I've got a theory I want to discuss. It's not my Martian Manhunter one, although that one has evolved, and we're going to talk about it next week after the finale. This one's about Auggie 2, since he was so appalled by being called a Nazi, and he has a damn convincing story at the ready. I think he is secretly the leader and the founder of the Sons of Liberty, on Earth X. I'm very much aware of how crazy that sounds too, but I'm talking like top secret. Not a single living member knows that he founded them. And I know people thought that, he hated his Peacemaker here because he was bi or whatever, that Peacemaker is. But I think Auggie too was actually a good dude. He just couldn't separate from his boys. It makes a lot of sense considering Robert Patrick's and James Gunn's comments. Both of them talked about this, about needing a new angle to revisit this character, and this would definitely be a new angle on the good old dragon. Hopefully, we get a bit more of Blue Dragon in the finale, even though he's dead. But this episode closed with the gang returning to our main Earth. Peacemaker turns himself, and more importantly, the portal controls over to Argus, and that's how the agents that we saw in the episode 8 trailer are going to access the cuck in that finale. But his arrest means that when the chaos comes through that portal in said finale, and you best bet it's coming, shit's gonna get messy because he's not gonna be isolated. I think we could even see, a prison break of sorts that, depending on where he's being kept, could give us some really cool world building from James Gunn. I thought that was another strong episode overall, though, for the back half of this season. I want to say it was great, I really do, but it didn't feel like much of a penultimate episode to me. This kind of felt like, episode 6 stuff, more mid-season stuff. It was another short episode too, and while that's not the end-all be-all, as I've said before, there's definitely room for more in this episode, in my opinion. Sometimes you just gotta let stuff breathe. And so that's gonna do it for my Peacemaker 207 breakdown. I wanna know what you guys thought about the penultimate episode though, so let me know that, and let me know your season 2 finale predictions too, down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.